what we do is we just kind of go around the table and people, you know, take a few minutes, and there's no actual set time limit, amount of time. If you got nothing, that's okay too. But we'll start it off. And Mike, you got a couple of things that you had on your.
I thought maybe I'd do my first thing and then you can go around and then I'd finish it up with my last thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the phrase that all Zoomers use. Let me share my screen. Some of the more common words you hear on social media these days. I actually have two screens, so I'm going to share my screen number 2. There we go. Okay, this is an Amana heat pump, AVZC20. And for those that are on our TechSIG email group, I sent out some links today. Makes it easier for Sean to put in his summary if you're going to do that, Sean. And back in September, I contracted for a new HVAC system for our house. I had a 15-year-old Carrier system that the compressor had already failed once, and then it had a service call because of a failed series of capacitors and relays, and it had failed again. And the technician that was out at the time told me that he didn't like the pump, the compressor pump that was out in the outside unit on the Carriers, and he suggested I consider getting a replacement. So I did due diligence. I searched all over. I looked at prices. I looked at technology, and all of the manufacturers have come a long way with technology. And at first I found an interesting unit that was kind of a modification of what they call an in-out system, which puts a small compressor outside and then hangs a inside unit for the for the cold air on your wall inside. But it just didn't seem practical, and I couldn't find somebody to do the installation. But while I was doing it, I found that Amana had similar technology in that they use, well, it says high efficiency heat pump with inverter technology. And they've actually changed their website. At the time that I purchased this back in September, it said up to 20 seer. And now they're advertising up to 21 seer, and they haven't changed their tonnage. So apparently they've done additional testing and been able to increase their seer ratings. I did get a 4-ton, and it was installed in October. So I will very quickly show my installation. There's the outside unit getting installed. The Carrier had been sitting on just on a poured cement slab underneath this. And today's code is you've got to have a hurricane rated slab, not like something like this is going to blow away in a hurricane, I wouldn't think, because of its weight. But at any rate, they just went ahead and mounted, leveled the slab that was down there and then put the new slab down on top of it. And then there are bolts that match up with the mounting base that they screwed it down to. And I had lines coming out this is going into our garage. It's the side of the house. And I had lines going to the Carrier and a drain line. And they said, no, we have to replace it. And the lines look good to me, but as part of the contract, they put all brand new copper and new PVC in. And normally that's about an hour job, according to the technician that was here. But two guys working together took them 3 hours to get the old lines out and the new lines in.
Mike?
Yes.
Where were those lines? Mine are in my slab.
This is the slab of the house right here in this dark area.
Yeah.
And this is under the slab.
There's usually a large PVC pipe that,
yes,
like a 6-inch PVC pipe that all those copper pipes go through, so you can pull them out and push them in. And of course, I just had mine done just about a year and a half ago, but they changed the copper pipes because they didn't want to contaminate the new compressor and the new evaporator.
Okay, well, this is the stand that the inside unit was on, which they have the old carrier unit taken out. You can sort of see the copper, right? Well, actually, is that copper or is that, I think that's, let me just hit the, expand this a little bit. Oh,
It
I guess I
looks
only
like
get,
it looks
yeah.
like PVC.
Well, this is PVC,
Yeah.
but, and I think it came all the way back here, and then he put a return on this to bring it over here, and I can see the copper line coming out. So it was definitely, but in this area somewhere, it was definitely a big PVC that this stuff all had to come through. And because of the necessary bends, that's the problem they were having, was getting everything in.
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
is that a hole or is that something that's built up? It looks like it could, is that,
This is built up. You can see the side. Let me see if I can zoom back out. Yeah. So you can see this is sitting on the, this is kind of like an aluminum box with this built around it.
oh, okay.
And then it was all insulated, and they pulled all the insulation out. You can see a little piece
Is
of
that
it.
in your garage?
That's in the garage, right?
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
if I go to, let's see here, we'll go to, where's the inside? There we go. So that's underneath this section right here. It's all sitting on this box underneath it. So this is the completed inside assembly. The carrier had two ultraviolet sanitizing lights, and I wanted to salvage that. They were going to take it all away, and I said, no, I want to install this on the new unit. I said, well, that's not part of our contract. I said, well, I'll tell you what, you guys do the necessary drilling and wiring. You'll get a nice little tip from me. And because I was talking to the service people instead of the boss. And I said, I'll go ahead once you've wired it, and I'll put in the unit. So I bought 2 new bulbs to go with this. The bulbs themselves are just like a small fluorescent bulb, but it's ultraviolet. And the base attaches with a socket to the electronics that's underneath this cover. So they had to drill a hole, and then they had to drill four drill and tap 4 screw holes for the electronics. And once it was all done, then they stood back. They were standing with a big smile, saying, "Yeah, you're probably going to break your bulbs, but I actually got it in and screwed in okay." And it comes on when power is on this unit. These come on and stay on, so that you're getting the ultraviolet in this area, theoretically preventing mold, and I guess sanitizing the air that's flowing up through the unit. Let's see if I've got anything else on this. We saw that. This is the interior thermostat. You'll hear the Amana advertises their ComfortNet protocol. That's their brand name. It is a smart thermostat, although they said any smart thermostat, including the Nest, for example, would work with the unit. And there is a setup that they do using Bluetooth to a special installer's app on a phone, where once all 3 units, the outside, inside, and the thermostat are connected and communicating, it tunes itself. And so that was about an hour-long procedure, so that it could communicate, tune itself, whole bunch, all kinds of stuff that you can't get to without a code. But I can adjust different schedules for times of day, change the thing, whatever. And if this particular shot says I'm following the schedule, but I've just locked it into the temperatures that I want. Right now, the heat is set to 74 and the cool is set to 77. And we have had heat a couple of times. The fan can be set to automatic. And then they have a thing called circulation. And if you put it in circulation, there's a time schedule where the fan will come on and just circulate the air unless it's already on for heating or cooling. So that way I've got airflow going through the ductwork and through the rest of the house.
Mike, I have two other questions.
Sure.
You mentioned it's a 4-ton. Did you replace a 4-ton? Or if not, how did you decide to put in a 4-ton? And then secondly, how many square feet are you actually air conditioning, just out of curiosity?
Second question first, 2170 under air. At least according to the house plans. The original unit was 3.5 tons back in 1987. It failed shortly after the hurricanes in 2004. And plus we had a lot of problems in the attic, and we had, even though the roof stayed on, we had lots of leaks and we had a lot of water blown in up there. And by the time I could get anybody in, mold had started. So we just basically had the whole system replaced with the Carrier Infinity unit back in, I guess it was early 2005, maybe late 2004. I'd have to look up the actual date. And at that point, Carrier said you should go to a 5-ton unit, which I thought was way overkill.
Yep.
But they said that's the most efficient unit for you. Yeah, right. Okay. So I followed their recommendations. So when it came time to size this unit, there's actually firms you can go to both on the internet and locally where you can pay somebody to come out and do a complete survey of your house, your duct sizes, your register sizes, the square footage, the height of your ceilings, the insulation value in the walls, the insulation value in the attic, whether you've got single or double pane windows, whether they're argon filled, all of that goes into their formulas. And it's a $300 to $500 job just to come out and do all that. Sure. Well, you can do that, or you can just go to a simple calculator and say 2170 under air. And it basically told me about 3.8 to 4.0. So I just decided to downgrade, if you will, from 5 to 4. And at the time, the Carrier was listed as 17 seer, and the replacement Amana for a 5-ton unit was 18 seer, and for the 4-ton unit, it was 20 seer. So apparently, you know, maybe Paul is more of an air conditioning guy, can tell you why less tonnage gets higher efficiency. If you want to comment on that, Paul.
I'll pass on that one.
Okay. but apparently the science of it is, you know, a lesser tonnage can be a higher efficiency. In fact, I have I think it's a 2-ton Mitsubishi in my office here, in an out unit. And I got that about 6 years ago. And it's a 22 seer. So it's much more efficient theoretically. All right. So the other thing I was going to show you then was this is, as I say, this is the website. At the time I was doing this, there were 3 rebates available. And one of them comes from Duke Energy, depending on what you do, what you already have and what you're replacing with. It's either an 800 credit or a $600 credit, which they put on your Duke Energy bill. So I applied with all the information of the unit, the tonnage, what the old one was, what the new one was. It's the same form. And they gave me a $600 credit. Now, why I didn't get the 800, I don't know. But the first 300 was applied. Well, wasn't even 300. It was whatever it was. It zeroed out my costs for this month, and it'll be another 2 months of a zero bill, which is kind of nice. And then there's a federal tax credit for energy, which they said for this unit is $300. Well, we have solar on the roof, and we have solar hot water. And I know I applied for solar hot water, but that was many, many years ago. It's easily 15 years ago. So I don't think that counts for the lifetime offset. And I did apply for the solar systems that were put in. So after downloading the form and trying to find the lines that you fill out for on the IRS, I wouldn't get any credit at all. I've used up my lifetime credit unless they came out with a brand new program. But for somebody that's just starting out, if you're even remotely thinking about a new HVAC system, these credits would be available to you. Specifically, Duke Energy is, saying this is for the Amana one, or Amana is saying the Duke Energy is for theirs, but it's a generic Duke Energy form. So you could actually, in your shopping, find out if what you're looking for has an Energy Star rating, and you can even call Duke Energy and tell them the unit that you're considering, and get a nice offset. So we did that. Let's see, what else did I do here? There's a consumer brochure and a technical specifications brochure, which is kind of nice. Amana has a lifetime unit replacement limited warranty, always an asterisk, right? Good for as long as the purchaser owns his or her home. If the compressor fails in use at the original registered homeowner's residence, a new condenser will be provided at no charge. The asterisk depends on the installer as far as whether the labor is covered. So I checked with our installer, and he said yes. As an incentive to all of our customers, we offer free service as long as we're in business. So we keep your fingers crossed that they're in business. And I had this tested out just recently. A good friend of mine, Dr. Larry Kaplan, has two separate units in his, 3,500, 3,700 square foot house with 10-foot ceilings and, whatever he's got. And he has a Train as his main unit and an Amana as a second unit. And I think it's an Amana. I think he told me it was a 2.5 or a 3-ton unit. And he had all kinds of problems having it fail, having service people come out, having a home warranty, people denying service, all the rest of this. So I gave him the name of my contractor. He went out there free of charge. He took a look at what his system was, and he said, "You've got a lifetime warranty on this compressor, on the entire outdoor unit." And he said, no, I don't have that. I was never given that, blah, blah, blah. He says, oh, yeah. He says, all I have to do is send the serial number and they'll send it to me. So, and he gave him a price to install it, which was a reasonable price. And so that's what he's in the process of doing now, is putting the claim in. And he said sometime in March, he'd probably get the unit replaced. So nice to know that there is a lifetime warranty on the outdoor unit. Let's see if there's anything else here. Okay. This is a very nice brochure. As I say, all these links are in the email I sent out. It talks about the Comfort Bridge communication technology. And as I said, it is compatible with all the different smart thermostats that are out there. But I just decided to stay with the one without paying extra. I decided to stay with the one that came with the unit. There's the limited warranty protection again. And the big plus that sold me was this inverter technology. Now, even on their specifications document, they really don't dig into what they're actually doing. They don't show you where the inverter is as a particular module. But as I understand it, the compressor is a DC compressor. The fan is a DC fan. And then the indoor unit, the fan is DC. And it's all AC of your 220. AC is converted to 220 or step down. I didn't see any great big transformer, so I guess they're just turning it into 220 DC. But the motor technology is supposed to be more efficient with a DC motor. I'll turn to my engineering friend Paul again, if you'd like to tell me, Paul, why a DC motor is more efficient than an AC motor.
I really don't know that, but to convert the AC down to DC, all they really need to do is just have a multi-vibrator circuit. There's another name for that also, but they just do it without transformers these days, and so you don't need those heavy transformers. They can just convert it down, but
well, they are saying here, automatically adjust the speed of the compressor and condensing fan motor based on cooling demand, 100% capacity for extreme temperatures and reduced capacity for milder days. All of this happens on smart units anyway.
Right. You can control a motor, whether it's a fan or a compressor. If it's DC, by the amount of DC voltage that it gets, you can control the speed, but you can't control the speed of an AC motor very much. If you drop the AC, you can kind of do it to a point, but you run into other electronic problems when you reduce the AC voltage into a motor. It's called back EMF. So when you start doing that, things don't run right, and that's why you've got you have to do it sometimes in steps and give it different you have different windings inside the motor that make it run at different speeds, but a DC motor can be controlled really easy with different DC voltages, and it won't, and there's no ill effects to it. So it's real easy to control.
And that seems to be what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the bottom line for me will be, this all happened essentially. I got 1 month in summer weather, and then the next month in winter weather, including our real cold days. So I truly have not had 30 days of electrical bills, with true cooling demand. I probably won't see that again until May to actually see, how well and how much more economical this unit is. As far as heating goes, we dip down into the 40s, maybe 30s, 2 or 3 days, maybe a couple of weeks, 1 week or 2 weeks as we go through the winter, in quotes. So there'll be some heating days that could be equivalent in demand on the unit as cooling days. But I'll watch the electric bills and see. It'll be hard to tell anyway, unless I just take a look at the kilowatts used, because I've got 2 months of credits. But we'll see if it actually does wind up being cheaper in the long run. It was nice to get the credits anyway. That helps reduce the overall cost. All right, and anybody else has interest in this, again, either look at Sean's show notes or take a look at the email that I sent out earlier. And it's got a description of the whole unit, and it's got the links in it.
Well, since you showed yours, I'd like to show mine.
Sure.
So let's see. Got to find the right place here.
Share my screen.
Share mine. This is the inside unit of mine. It's in a closet. And when I say in a closet, in our closet, there's only one closet. I considerably downsized when we moved, and we're a little, probably around 525, 545 square feet. And so things are kind of compact. And A few months ago, all of a sudden we had no air conditioning. And the nice thing about renting is we just call the management company, and they said, well, there'll be somebody here at 9 o'clock Monday morning to put in the new unit. So here's the old unit. Whoops, wrong direction here. A pair of socks of Utica Club beer on it. Again, this is the inside unit in the closet right over the water tank. Now here's, this is my unit, and the other one is the next door neighbor's unit. And this is where they were disconnecting mine. And there is the old unit later that morning. And there's a new unit in a box. And they took out all of the insides as well. And that's what it looks like in the closet. And then replaced it with what appears to be a little bit smaller unit.
Looks better. Looks better insulated too.
Oh yeah. And then here, my unit is the one on the left. Our next door neighbors is the one on the right. And there it is. And it's Comfort Maker. That wasn't what yours said. Yours said Comfort Speed, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. It was a ream that was in there, but this is a Comfort Maker. And that's what it looks like. And the nice thing about it, although it doesn't hook to a smart unit at all, it was the original, the one that was there that died was installed in 2011, and they didn't even try to fix it. They just yanked it out and put the new one in. And the nice thing about being in a rental unit, it didn't cost me a dime. But I didn't have to do any research. I didn't have to have them do anything. And I have no idea what it does other than the fact when it's cold, it warms me. And when it's hot, it cools me. And that's all I need.
Well, being a technology guru, you know, I dug into it a bit.
Yeah.
And I consulted with Paul too. Stan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
He's not here. Yeah.
Okay, well, Maggie
I don't think
sent
I
me
can-
a private chat saying she thought she was getting into something with more computer interest. So I tried to tell her to give us another subject, and by then she was gone. So I will send her some more information later. But
Well, if she gets the show notes, she'll know.
Yeah. And she can see the recording as well.
well, I'm curious myself, and I think Mike will do more of this a little offline if you don't mind. My house is older. It was built in 75, and I did some changes of the outside unit. I think, I don't know, maybe in 1990, and then in maybe 2000 we redid the inside air handler, and then a couple. I don't have a firm idea of when we replaced the outside unit or what the make is right now, but I'm thinking about having to do the whole thing all over again. And that idea of having somebody come and do a complete survey for that $300 to $500, it sounds interesting, but on the other hand, it does seem rather expensive, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be here.
Well,
It's just.
I'll give you the name of my guy who will come over for free. It won't be, you know, put everything into a program and punch the buttons. But if you tell him what your square foot is under air, and he takes a look at what you've got now, while he's there, he'll work up a quote. He is fully computerized as far as his quoting and his business systems are concerned. It's very nice, the coordination, even when they get ready to depart to come out on a service call, they just bring up their app on the phone, punch the button, and you get an email and a text. And while he's there, you get your invoice, and you can pay it there, or you can pay it, you know, online, or you can call them or write them a check. So he's got a nice modern service program as well, and he's got reasonable prices.
Sounds good. I would very much appreciate seeing that. And I saw something, I think it was on Nextdoor, where somebody talked about a local guy that he had come in and replaced his system, and he said the old one, he could always hear it would clunk, and he could hear it running and shutting off and coming on, that sort of thing. Was always very variable temperatures. And so this new guy put in, I'm not sure if it was a larger system or what, but he says he doesn't even hear it. And the temperature is just much more consistent. All that just sounds marvelous, because we've had issues that our master bedroom is not as cool as the rest of the house. We have 20-foot ceilings in part of the house, that sort of thing. We have 3 separate attics. It's semi-nightmare. So. Terrific. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. And all right, who would like to go next, please?
I'll jump in there real quick, if you don't mind.
Robert? No.
Hey, hello. How's everybody?
Doing great.
All right. I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. Possibly. Nope.
We need to make you a co-host. I'll see if I can do that.
Let me know.
Are you able to?
Stan, are you able to?
No. Huey, can you?
I can't.
Mike?
I can, as a co-host, I cannot make him a co-host. Only you stand next to his name on the participants list. Go to more.
Thank you. Took it a while to get there, and more, and make co-host.
There you go.
All right.
And now you are.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. I'm going to jump into this real quick. Everybody see that?
Yes.
All right. I've just bought one of those. It's 120 watts, 12,000 lumens at full go. It does color temperature from the 3000 to the if I can get it to go up. Maybe I can't do that here. Oop, there we go. Covers 80,000 hours. It was $30. From the 3000K warm to a 65,000 daylight light.
This is in your garage?
No, well, actually, I'm using it for the Zoom.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because you can change all and it's all remote control. Comes with a remote control here. And if I can switch to my other camera here, possibly. I don't know if I can. Well, let's jump over to the second part. I'll see if I can, but it's this big, got 4 wings that came down.
You're showing the satellite.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, there you go.
And it just screws into the a light bulb thing, but I just used a trouble light that I screwed it into, and I've got it up on my arm over me. So, and it doesn't heat up, but you can change from that bright white to the
hello
to the soft, and to buy a regular one was like $120 to $150, for a Zoom light. This was $30.
hello
I don't know who's saying hello. Can you hear me?
It was Ken, but I muted him.
Oh, okay. So for $30 instead of $150, I've got an adjustable, dimmable, turn off by remote control. And it's great. That was the first thing I had. Second thing, real quick, See all those little dots going?
Yep.
That is Starlink. That is every Starlink satellite out there. Let me zoom it in a little further here. Oops, come back here.
You mean just the white dots or all the red dots?
All the dots are the satellites. All of them.
Okay.
You see the yellows here in the middle?
Yeah.
That's the recent release of number 15, and they're still in a train, and then they slowly start pulling apart. The link to this is satellite-map.space, SATELLITE map.space. And this is put out by Starlink. And there's over on the left side, you see all the numbers. That's the number of launches. They're up to number 15. The red means that they aren't to orbit yet, and the yellow rings means they aren't up to orbit yet. And if you scroll down on this thing, I just keep changing the map size. But you can spin around the world and see where all these 800 satellites are that he has so far. And you can actually go out and watch them go by.
Are they all at the same altitude?
They will be, yeah. The ones that are yellow are only at like between 400 and 550 kilometers. 550 is where they want to be. That's where they're green. The white dot means it's in sunlight. The red dot means it's in nighttime. And this is live. If I can scan in a little bit closer, let's see if I can get it to do it. Yep, there we go. Come on. Keep going. There we go. All right. This is satellite number 11-X. So that was on the 11th launch. It's at 553 kilometers, and you see it's moving down. This one is 6B. It's at 550.4 kilometers, and it's moving north. All these rings, when you get this thing up on the big screen, like the one behind me, it's just an amazing thing to watch. All these satellites cover different parts of the world, Florida. Let me see if I can get up here a little further. Oops. Let's see if I can.
So that would be above the space station then.
I'm not sure where the station is.
Well, 550 kilometers is about 340 miles. And isn't the space station about 100 miles?
No, I thought it was up a little higher.
All right, 125. Mike, here's the space station. You would know that.
I'm thinking these things are below the space station, but I don't know.
These are 552 kilometers, so whatever a kilometer is to a mile.
Well, 1.6 kilometers per mile. But if you do the math, it comes to 550 kilometers is 340 miles, round numbers.
Okay. But you see the two red marks at the top of the United States and Canada? That's the actual true beta site that they're using currently. You know, people can buy this for the dish and the download, blah, blah, blah. It's $400 plus a month of is $100. So you give them $500 and you get to be a beta tester currently. And the download speeds are pretty phenomenal because these people have been doing dial-up still. But you can see how the satellites all kind of journey different north and south, and they go east, and it's impressive.
I'm surprised at how low he is. I guess he's got the Florida coverage because he wants support for his recovery vessels off of the coast.
Yeah, actually, the the ships actually have a Starlink dish on them. If you
Right.
look real close, you can see on the
I think
recovery ships.
I think that's the only reason he's down here, because they had. I'm on the. I know Huey and I both signed up for the beta program, and then they said they weren't gonna, they weren't gonna come down here for the general public or for the beta.
Yeah, but see, they're all over.
Yeah, they are.
Boca Chica's right here where my big X, where the X is. That's their big uplink
Right.
station right there. But what I think is really cool is the big trains of the ones that have just launched. Coming in to the left there. There's 2 or 3 of those. There's another one on the other side of the world. That's like launch 15. That's probably launch 14, and 13's around the corner. And they just slowly keep coming apart. It's an amazing thing. So, just it's satellitemap.space is the link. I've been looking at it for the last few days because somebody up in Wisconsin became a beta tester, and he had that running in the background as he's talking about his unit, and everybody's going, "What is that map?" And he told us, and so I've had it on my screens now for a couple days.
Another thing I notice is the seemingly lack of coverage over Alaska, because there are a number of YouTube channels where these guys are showing their initial installations. And I thought there was actually one promoting an Indian tribe in Alaska. Maybe it was the Yukon, which is further down.
Mike, it was an Indian tribe in North Washington State, I believe.
Ah, okay. Misunderstood that.
Which is in that beta area.
So they're really not in Alaska, at least not yet.
Not yet. He's going to have 12,000 of these things up there, supposedly. So right now he's got roughly 800. And
he just got an approval for about $900 million from the U.S. government towards his goal of what he's doing, to bring internet into areas that don't have broadband.
The space station's 220 miles up.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was above them.
Yeah, I had 254 for it.
That's what I had too, 254.
And if you can scroll down the whole screen on your own, you can actually see the ones that have deorbited. Oh, right here. In gray, you see 15.8M is in white, and then everything else is in gray. Those have already been deorbited. Most of them are from launch 1, the early series. But there's 80, maybe 80 that's gone so far. But these things,
I think that's what I read, was around 80.
Yeah, but these things have little electric motors on them, pulse jet engine or rocket engines, and that's how they get from 400 where they're released up to the 550 kilometers, which is operational.
Ion thrusters.
Yeah, it's remarkable technology, and they can deorbit them whenever they get bad. So it keeps it clean up there. That's about all I had for tonight. Good to see everybody. Everybody stay safe.
That's a great find. It's fascinating. Thanks for sharing it with us. I can't wait to dig into that. But Huey, did I not hear that in order to subscribe to this thing, you're going to have to pay $500 for a modem, and then there's fairly high cost to get in. Not so much for the beta, I think, but am I right on that?
Robert just said it's right now it's around $400 for the equipment, and it's $99 a month.
Yeah, and the equipment, I watched take apart. Some guy took apart the pizza pan thing, and inside of there is 480 phased array receivers and transmitters. So the pizza pie thing kind of aims to the most satellites, and then the electronic driving of it is all these little chips all over this whole PCB board round, and then all the other electronics are underneath. But they actually bend their beams for sending and receiving. Pretty interesting technology. For people that are out in the sticks, this is a wonderful thing. For us that really hate Bright House, it's a wonderful thing. So maybe in end of 2021, he'll have enough up, and we can get rid of Bright House.
Do you know anything about the uplink technology? You know, how they, how the internet gets up there to where it can be distributed to.
Right.
Do they have to program every satellite, or do they talk to each other?
They talk to each other currently electronically, but they sent up some flight 3, I think, or 4 that actually have little lasers that they laser to each other, much stabler, a lot more bandwidth instead of electrically. That they'll be like interconnected. You know, you think of the
Beam me up, Scotty.
yeah, you know, it's if they can, like the ones that are out in the ocean, if they can jump from, well, they're that high up and skip a bunch of them and hit another one and carry it across, your delay levels are going to be a lot lower. But this guy was getting a ping of 21, an upload or a download of 150, and an upload of 25. And he had a ping of 120 on his dial-up, and his download was 9.5, and his upload was 2.5. So he went from that to the Starlink, and he was just dancing.
I got a general question. Do you know, are these, I have satellite TV, and when the weather gets bad, it quits. Are these going to be affected by weather? Do you know, or has anybody heard?
I
I'm
don't
reading,
know.
what I'm reading, it doesn't. And one of the things that, like you're saying, they're using laser to talk to each other. So you're not just going up to a satellite and back down again. You're going up, and then it's going across to several of them. And so I'm not sure how the technology works, but you aren't just talking to one satellite when you're uploading and downloading.
Plus the frequencies they're using, I think, a little bit different. Now that green ring that you see, that is 45 degrees horizon to horizon from a position. So if your house was like right underneath one of those, and you catch 45 degrees out, you know, clear view, that's what that ring stands for, is 45 degrees circular above your area.
Yeah, what I'm reading too, that if you're like in a city and you're down on a lower level, you're not going to really be able to get it. You've got to have a kind of an open field and
Yeah, an
look
open view.
an open view of the sky. Even a lot of trees are going to hinder it.
I do like the way these things overlap, though. So if you've got a cloud that's overhead, and you got another satellite that's more down towards the horizon in one of those overlapping circles, then you'll just transmit to it at a different angle.
Yeah, like we've got 3-AE coming all the way through Florida currently. And then 10AV is going north. 3AE is coming south currently. So I was watching it that we get about 50% coverage currently, and then just because there's just not enough satellites covering us yet. But 50% is actually pretty good for people who have not had any. And you could actually time it by the satellite that's coming towards you. You could watch it and then log on. It's going to be very exciting. I can't wait till we start selling stock in it.
What do we know how many users one satellite can support?
I don't know. I haven't seen those numbers out of the
Yeah, I
beta.
haven't either. Mhm.
But that will be a limit once the full system's up.
But if one gets overloaded, like you were just saying, there'll be so many with overlinks that I think it's going to be smart enough that it just picks a different satellite to look at to offload some of the, 12,000 is an awful lot when you look at 800 that's coverage right now on this.
Clutter.
Yeah, the astronomers are not too happy.
No, that's why they put sun shields up on the current ones that are going up so they don't reflect back as bad. But it goes almost down to the Arctic and Antarctica. Canada is going to get more coverage and South also, but
And
I was
the Canadian government has approved it now, and so they're going to be able to hook up to it as well.
Wonder if he could turn these things into meteor deflectors if he gets enough around here.
that little ion engine's not real fast. But
two comments. One is not Elon Musk's company just now getting onto the Standard & Poor,
Yes, Tesla.
500.
And also, he's not yet made a profit in the number of years that his company has been in business. So it's almost like Amazon.
Well, Tesla's made profit the last 3 quarters. They've hit their shipping record of the cars globally. China's turning them out now. Germany will be up, but he said he wanted to do 500,000 cars this year, which he stated in 2016, and he met it. They may have met it by the skin of their teeth, but they made it. And Germany is, the plan in Germany is about 3/4 of the way done. And he just ordered another 11 of the stamping machines. The cars will be in 3 pieces, basically. The battery pack will be in the middle, and the front end and the back end will be these giant presses. It'll just press out the front and the back of the car. He eliminates 270 components on one end, and I forget how many on the other. It's like 550 total components he eliminates with this stamping unit, and they're huge. The new battery technology, they're bigger, they're faster, they're cooler. It's Tesla, as one of the guys I follow who really is a Tesla head. It's going to the moon right now, the price of the stock, but it's on its way to Mars, really.
Literally.
Literally.
There was an article also, it was on YouTube, and it coincided with his report, where they're saying the Tesla solar cells now, his solar panel company, that and the solar roof tiles, but the panels especially, are being turned out now in such quantities that their cost per unit is going to come down to something like 20 to 30% of the cost of a traditional solar panel. So that if I were starting over again, my first phase of solar was about $15,000 to put my panels on the roof. And I estimated after reading that article that I could probably do it for about $3,500 to $4,000.
Wow.
So he is revolutionizing all things electric and solar.
And you don't have batteries either, do you?
No, at the time it was going to cost me another $10,000 to $15,000. Now, had I gone the design that they use, I could put 2 Tesla solar walls up. And we lost power here the other day, and my generator was running for 6 hours. And if I had had the Tesla solar walls absorbing the electricity instead of sending it back to Duke Energy, my generator wouldn't have even had to come on for those 6 hours.
Right. I know Australia had some problems several years ago. They had went green and took out a bunch of their petrol and coal generators. Well, they kept running in the summertime, their summertime or wintertime, not enough power. And so Tesla built these giant battery banks. There's 2 of them. And he goes, okay, if we can't get these in and working within X amount of time, they'll be free. Well, he got them in, and they used them several times this past year. They just keep putting power into them until they have an emergency or a overage, where everybody's got the air conditioner on and everything, because they've already used all their petrol power or coal power. It's to its max. So this is the bump that helps get them through the rest of the day till the night.
There's an infrastructure similar to that in New England. I don't remember which state or which utility. It's also on a YouTube video that you can watch. And essentially the homes have solar panels, Tesla solar panels on the roof, Tesla solar walls on the side of the house or in the garage. And then this, I'll call it a power management system in every house. And the power management system manages the power you consume, and then the excess is sent out to the utility, which cooperates with this and goes into those battery banks like you were talking about.
Okay.
And gets distributed through the rest of the county or the multi-county that this utility serves. And everybody benefits from it. And you get your rake of the profits that this produces as a user of both the solar energy and the panels and the rest of that. And this is one of the things that Musk thinks he can do countrywide. I mean, he's fighting city halls literally in doing this, which is why he's doing it in a small area up in New England.
Well, what's really sad is that our electrical grid is so old, so decrepit, so vulnerable across the country. Look, the great power outage of New York and things like that, from a lightning bolt in Canada, that tripped everything down years ago. Yep. If they had these solar battery farms at various places, maybe that would be a safety for our decaying infrastructure. I mean, Florida with a hurricane, look how long it took people to get power. If we had, 8 or 10 of these up and down the center of the state, that, if one bank goes down, they could still feed from the other. Who knows? It should be an interesting next 10 years. Should be fun. Anyway, everybody have a good evening, and somebody else is up and running.
I did want to add on the satellite thing. Besides Elon Musk, you've got Jeff Bezos at Amazon, and then there's one other company that have both been licensed, and the other company, and I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. I'm sorry. OneWeb, I think it is.
Yes, OneWeb.
They've already got some satellites up there. They got to that point where Bezos doesn't even have a rocket yet.
Yeah, well, Bezos is actually supplying to the ULW rocket. He's supplying rocket engines to that from the New Glenn that he jumps up and down in Arizona. It goes up, comes down. It's got windows. It's a sightseeing trip. I mean, it's an e-ticket ride from Disney, but they haven't put people in it yet. But it works really well. But he doesn't have anything that's orbited yet. But the rockets he's actually designed in that one will be in the UAW or UAW.
ULA.
Yes, thank you. It'll be in the Artemis rocket. So they're doing actually quite a bit of things on that. Blue Origin's actually got huge buildings and got some pretty big plans. But Elon actually sent up that OneWeb satellite the other day it was a ride along on one of his rockets. Anyway, enjoy that link there. And if you need a zoom light, that thing was the DEFORMABLE lamp.
Did we talk about this Zoom light last month? Because this sounds so familiar to
No,
me.
it's a different one that Huey got, I think. And the round light that you've got, Huey?
Yeah, but I don't think I've talked about it, but I do have one of those round lights. I just ordered it from Amazon. I think it was around $40. It's on a tripod and it's
an 8-inch circle light.
Yeah.
Those are nice. I got other stuff that I'll save for next time. Yes, sir.
Robert, you mentioned something where you saw, I think it was a YouTube, where somebody took apart one of the satellites and showed the 498 components of it.
Yeah, the dish, the downlink dish.
The dish. Could you send us or even chat it to Sean if he's sending out some minutes of the records of this? I'd like to see that myself, and I'm sure the others might want to as well.
Yeah, if you just go into YouTube and put take apart Starlink dish, it should come up. Multiple ones.
Okay.
There's at least 2 or 3 people that's done it because it completely destroys it. I mean, it destroys it.
Yeah, and if they're beta testers, they're all on non-disclosure agreements too. So they really got to be careful.
Yeah, but the technology of how they've got each one of those phased array units is actually really, really cool. And it's got a heater in it to keep the snow melted off of it. So, they were kind of thinking ahead when they're doing the northern folks and stuff like that. For us, they'll have to make them with a chain on it so the hurricanes won't blow them away.
People won't steal them.
Put it on your house. All right.
All right. Thank you, Robert. That was great. Both parts. Who's next?
Say a couple of things. I was going to buy one of those garage lights from a garage, but my overhead outlet for the garage is too close to my garage door opener and it wouldn't fit. So, and I didn't want to have to move an outlet to get through that. So, Tom, the guy that's building the airplane, what's the last name? Tom?
Alt.
Yeah, Tom Alt. He bought one of those lights similar to that at the someplace in Tallahassee or Gainesville. The store's not here, and I forgot what it was. Some new store that everybody wants to bring here. But it was a light similar to that. He put it in his place, several of them. So, y'all talked about microphones at the last meeting or something, or one before, and I got to thinking, and I dug out, and I had no idea how much they're worth and rare they are now. It's an old Shure 55S, and it does have the link with the on-off switch on it.
Ooh.
And I went on eBay, and one with a cord without the on-off switch. The best one they're asking $300 for, and they're bringing anywhere from $275 to $300. And I couldn't find my cord, And I took about 30 minutes in the garage and I found my cord. I got a 25-foot cord, and the longest cord you can find with that correct ethanol fitting is 7 feet, and it's $45. So I know where that's going to go after Christmas for sale.
That's interesting. I have one of those microphones from ham radio that I use, and it's got the cord and the stand.
Yeah. I had this on a boom when I played in a band back in the 60s. That's what this is for. And it hadn't been used since then. It's just been in a Crown Royal bag ever since.
Crown Royal. And you probably drank it.
Oh, no. Use it to wash my windows with.
The element in that could be still good. You'll just have to find somebody who's an audiophile and check it out. But those heavy duty mics like that, they're just gold.
There's a good recording studio right up here on Oxford. Matter of fact, it was between the first stoplight from Denny's right down there.
Right.
And I thought I'd slip it up there. The PL plug, the wire's pulling out of it, and I'm going to resolder that, and then it'll be all right. But it's been inside the house. The mic, it's always been inside the house in a chest on chest. So
that thing's probably older than some of the boys working in that store.
oh, I'm sure. I bought it probably, I'm guessing 59.
Still looks new.
Yeah, it sure does. And it's the only one that has the on-off switch I saw for sale anywhere. So that mounts to it. It's made by Shure. That's all.
Okay.
Hey, I have a
And
quick question.
I have one more comment about those garage lights. Ollie's, about a month ago, had a 3-panel LED that would screw into your garage. Okay. I went there and they just didn't have any left, but it was like $19.99. I think 1,000 lumens, something like that. It really looked neat. And after I didn't get that, I wound up at Home Depot. I bought a single bulb that just goes into a socket. I think it's only 60 watts, so it's not as bright as I would like, but it's motion sensitive, and it works fairly well in the hall of our garage towards the outside. I'll get the box. I need to go adjust some body weight, as a matter of fact. So I'll be back in a moment, and we'll come up with the next speaker, and I'll bring that box. We'll talk about that.
While he's doing that, I've got a question. One of my townhomes here, not my town, it was a townhome here that I know what all the dishes look like and all that for antennas. This is probably 16 by 20. It's up on a pipe coming up from a second story. It's about 16 inches by 20 inches and about 4 inches thick, it looks like. And it's perfectly flat. Anybody have any idea what that's for?
Take a picture and share it.
Could that be a TV antenna?
I don't know. That's why I've never seen anything like that. It's perfectly flat.
There's some strange looking TV antennas out there.
Well, they make one now that's you can fasten to your window, and they have amplified and non-amplified ones, and you use it with your television set. It's like the old rabbit ears.
Yeah, but it's about 4 inches thick, and it's just weird. I can't see the surface of it because it's the way it's pointed up. There's no way I could do it unless I got an airplane or something. But someday I'm gonna knock on the door and ask them.
There it is, turned off.
Yeah.
And with remote, it turns right on.
Forrest, you were commenting about the light next to your garage door opener. We had to have ours garage door opener replaced last summer, and I had just a standard incandescent bulb, screwed in to the garage door ceiling.
Right.
And the guy told me he was going to have to take it out because it would interfere with the new radio frequencies that the new garage door openers are using. And I'm thinking, an incandescent bulb will interfere with it. I said, well, I've got an LED bulb. He says, those do too. He says, what you need is a special bulb that's made specifically for use either in a new garage door opener or next to it. And I did find one on Amazon. It was an LED, but it just surprised me
Yeah.
that the radio frequency, because they now have apps on your phone that'll open and close the garage door. So if you forget the opener, or or your car isn't synchronizing to it, or the keypad battery is gone or something like that, you can open it and close it with an app. I also go ahead.
When I put in a new garage door, or had it put in about 2 or 3 years ago, he asked me if I wanted that option. It was something like $45, $45, but I didn't want it. I didn't care for this.
I didn't have a choice, I guess, at least not from the guy that I was using. He just told me that I had to, that I was getting it with the MiFi link. And it's not one that the Echo has an app for. A skill for, I don't think. Mm-hmm. There is a brand that I can just talk to the Echo and say, open my garage door or close my garage door. But this one isn't. It just has an app on the phone.
Where was the light bulb? Outside?
No, in the center of my garage. Most people in the center of their garage are slightly offset.
Oh, okay.
Have just a little light outlet that takes.
But what you really need is a DC light bulb.
Probably. Or maybe that's what they've got, is a bulb with a little rectifier in the base.
I'm just kidding.
That receptacle for the light would probably be pretty easy to just relocate.
Oh yeah.
You got a drywall ceiling.
Yeah.
You'll find out where the rafters are and just move it over a couple feet. Use some Romex.
Yep.
Well, while we're waiting for Stan, let me do my second one, because he's aware of what I'm going to talk about. And that is the subject of MeWe. And for those that haven't heard of MeWe, as I mentioned in my email today, it's an alternative for Facebook. So we're looking at my Facebook right now. And Facebook basically is designed with, a control column here with your friends and recent pages and groups and shortcuts, and then your news feed in the center, and then either your contacts and sponsored activities, or you can get your alerts and notifications on the right-hand side. And I know there's people that never even went on Facebook, so I don't know if that applies to anybody here or not. And we do have if I go to groups, I don't know if I haven't resigned yet. Okay. So Central Florida Computer Society does have a Facebook page, and it's not that active. Like our website, which isn't very active. It has the ability to post notes. So there was a WinSig meeting information back in October that did get posted. And I was just going to scroll down to see if we had any advertising in here, and we don't. Okay. So this is Facebook. Well, especially during the election, and even now, there was all kinds of censorship going on, and that was bothering me. And then I have gone through and rejected every single ad that's shown up on my Facebook page for the last week. Every single one of them. But typically, if you would scroll down your news feed, you would see somewhere between these two posts would be an ad. And then you scroll down 3 or 4 more, and there'd be another ad. And some nice sunsets. And some birthdays. And, it's a nice little social activity if that's what you've got. But I was getting more and more upset with what was going on. And a friend suggested to me that I check out MeWe. So MeWe is a social media application, very much like Facebook. Here we are again with the 3 major columns. It's got my chat box here for the people that have actually come in and become members. It's got your news feed in the center. It's got your photo stream where photos that you've recently posted are here for people that quickly want to, look those up. It has groups, just like the Central Florida Computer Society group. This is the group for the International Corvette group. And this looks just like the group that's on Facebook. But again, no advertisements. So people who have unique interests can form a group. And then the group can have limited access. And this just happens to be the access for the Corvette group. So I joined it, and I'm going to leave Facebook come December 31st or thereabouts. I'm not going to go into the new year with it. And I've been posting periodically. I'll put a final post in the CFCS Google group email, just saying farewell Facebook friends, and come join me if you would like to. And today I posted that if there's anybody that would like to come over earlier, I gave my link for becoming one of my friends. And as soon as we have 5 people who are CFCS members, I can set up a CFCS MeWe group if we would like to. And just, that's kind of what I did way back when Facebook, with the Facebook groups. I don't think it was anything that we ran by the board at the time. I just said, hey, I'll set up a Facebook group if anybody would like to. And slowly but surely, we had a group of people that joined. So it'll be there as an option if people want to do that. And I think what appeals more than those who already are on Facebook and are willing to live with the harvesting of their personal information and the advertising and the federal lawsuits and everything else that's going against them is the idea that they never did join Facebook because of privacy issues, or they just did not want to have their accounts hacked or cloned. And I see MeWe as a site that has said right from the start, privacy is their number one concern. And they're going to keep it private, and they're not going to allow people that are going to go in and try to clone your account. Apparently, a couple people have already found my name, and I've gotten some requests to have them come in as friends, and I've just immediately blocked them. In fact, I think it tells me if I come back home again, and if I go to contacts somewhere, well, let's see, what have I got? I got some, okay, here's some contacts that want to join. So let's see, let me look at the requests. I just hit requests. Oh, Sean wants to join. Okay, so I will accept Sean. Okay, so Kate Clint is a phony. So I will block that person.
How do you know that?
Because I've gotten this picture from another female viewer, and I'm sure it's the same with, they're all women, and Michelle Delkin is also a phony, so I'll block that.
But you're a real popular guy, Mike.
Yeah. And let me decline that also. Okay. Oh, see, how about Amanda? She's found me too.
I'm an administrator on a site, local, and you get them everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially Arabic. I mean, they'll that, and the women, and I probably delete 15 or 20 a day. I block them.
Yeah, I get people on my YouTube channel that want to either subscribe or leave comments, and then they'll leave a link or something, and it'll be to either a porn site or some other language site, so you don't even know what it is, and I just block them. I've been on MeWe since Mike talked about it, and so far, including me, I know 3 people now on MeWe. So
yeah, it's not, in terms of any individual in their social circle, it's not as popular, and I know the kids are more interested in TikTok and Instagram and, you know, the video and the pictures kinds of things. My granddaughter told me, "Oh, Pops, you're still old fashioned," you know, and I said, "Yeah, but you know, I did get on Facebook because I just like that as a platform. To me, it's like the old BBS days, except now you've got pictures and things that you can do on it." So,
I find some of the ads are interesting. I bought some really strange things. I've never gotten screwed yet. So I've gotten everything I've ordered. Some of them come from by way of the a proverbial slow boat from China. They've taken a couple of months with with the Chinese postmark on it. In fact, I'm waiting for two things right now from China, and that was also in an ad. And I've had good luck with the ads. I found some very interesting stuff. So, you know, it's kind of like watching ads on TV. I don't mind watching them. I learn things. I learn new products. I learn programs that are coming up that you might not see. So using my DVR to scoot through them sometimes defeats the purpose of learning what's going on and what you want to have. And with Facebook, I enjoy I've got a lot of people, and I'm in a lot of groups that have a lot of very interesting information that I utilize, and I really like that. And so to go to MeWe and just see what Mike posts, I do like a lot of the stuff he posts, but not all of it.
yeah.
And and nobody else.
Well, there are public groups out there now. As I said, they'll make them available for searching by keyword, as long as there's 5 people or more. So, for example, I did go on and search for Corvette, and I found a Corvette users group, and I went ahead and joined it and was on it for a while until I realized that the guy that ran it was basically a dictator and used foul language. And, you know, if he didn't like what you posted, he dropped what you posted. And, you know, he was very, very ego driven. And I said, okay, bye-bye, I'll see you. And then I'm a member of the International Corvette Facebook group. Some of you met Remco Schaefer at one of our TechSIG meetings a couple years ago from the Netherlands. And I met him through the International Corvette Facebook group. And then he was vacationing in Orlando once a year anyway. So we became friends. And so we've started a MeWe group because he likes the idea of that. As Huey mentioned, you'll find some odd things that are advertised. So right here on your screen,
That looks delicious.
is a mechanical rotisserie. Okay. And those if you take it apart, the mechanism comes off of the stand. Those 2 sides fold down flat, and everything can go in a drawer, and it goes in your oven, and it's all heat tolerant. And so we actually made a rib roast over the weekend with it, our first try, and it was delicious. And we're going to do and we're not going to do a turkey for Christmas. We're going to do a 5-pound chicken. So that's basically, I think that's 2 chickens side by side, or 2 Rock Cornish game hens. Looks like it. But at any rate, that's what we're gonna do for our Christmas meal. Kind of neat. But on the other hand, I also saw an advertisement for a robotic vacuum cleaner, which Paul knows very well about. And it was, you know, slow boat from China kind of thing. Took forever to get here. And even though I could get it charged, I could never get it to run. And so I asked for a refund, and they said, tell us why. And I told them why. It doesn't run. They said, charge the battery. The battery doesn't run and doesn't charge. I mean, it's showing it's charged, but it's not running. And this was like a 3-month process. I paid for it with PayPal, expecting their buyer's program to protect me, and it didn't. They sided with the merchant. And so luckily PayPal was paid with a Visa card, and my dispute with Visa basically got me my money back. And then I went to my MacGyver friend, Paul Colton, And I said, "Hey, Paul, I got a vacuum cleaner that doesn't run. You want to play with it?" And he got the thing working.
Hey,
But
did you?
But it was
you-
it was really underpowered. It really was underpowered, and there was really no intelligence about where it went in the room. And so it was my gift to him for all the kindness he's shown me and some of the things that he's repaired.
On Facebook, I saw an ad.
We need Tim the Tool Man to put some turbo boost on it.
Hey, did you get the Wise email today about the Wise vacuum cleaner for $199?
No,
Yeah.
but that's about what we did. So watch out for it.
Okay, today was the last day to order the watch, the $20 watch, and the vacuum cleaner for $199. So
Yeah, I bought the watch.
me too.
And it's coming in February, supposedly. But I didn't bite on their vacuum. I bought a Shark on Black Friday. Saved
How's it
60.
working?
I love it. Robin and I love it. It's been doing. We had a new floor put in, so it's really keeping it clean.
Very good.
All right. Well, I'll stop sharing. I just was showing you what the two look like. They're not that far apart in their design. It's just the motivation of the heads of the two, Mark Zuckerberg or Mark Weinberg. And Zuckerberg is profit motivated and probably partisan motivated as well. And Weinberg seems not to be motivated by profit. He's theoretically is an altruistic, independently wealthy social guru. So we'll see how it all comes out.
I have several friends that have switched over to it, and I started to, but most of them have dropped it and stayed with Facebook, and that's the way I feel. I follow 35 to 45 groups on there, and which I really enjoy. And it would probably take them the rest of my life before any of them got on MeWe. So
yeah,
that's why I'm going to stick with it.
Does MeWe have a way that it will notify you if someone has posted something there, so you can go look at it?
Yes.
I have that in Facebook. I don't know how I set it up, but there are some people, including you, for example, that I want to see if they posted something. To me, it's a bit of a nuisance to have to go someplace else as opposed to the email that I'm always checking. For example, CFCS TechSIG group. I think that's fantastic. I'll check that every day, and I just see all sorts of things. So to me, it's a bit more of the power of Babel, where we got so many things distracting our attention.
Well, Sean just put an emoji on one of my pictures, and while we were talking, I got a ding, and I just went on MeWe and saw that he liked one of the pictures that I posted. And when somebody new joins from my invitation, I get a different sounding ding or thing, and I get it if my computer's up. I get it on my computer, and I have the app on my phone, so I also have it. My phone will remind me too that there's stuff to go look at.
Well, I've joined it at your invitation, and I did not realize that there were no ads on it, because the ads on Facebook, some of them are kind of interesting, but I think I'll give it a try, and we'll keep ourselves posted on that.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else hot to go?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things.
Okay, Huey.
Let me share my screen again, and then bring this over. This is called a cheer pod. Doesn't look like much. Let me show you a couple of pictures of it. Let's see if I can. Here it is in my hand. And there it is on my desk. It's a mouse, but it's also a presenter mouse. So you can hold it in your hand and move it around and move the mouse with it. It has a little LED laser light that you could point it on the screen. It doesn't work well on the TV screen or on a Zoom screen, but It is that size. You can see it's no bigger than about 2 fingers. And one's the left mouse, one's the right mouse button. You move it up and down. And then it also works as like a trackpad. And you can, there's certain ways with so many fingers, and I haven't learned all of that yet, but I do use it. And I really like it because it is so small, and I can pick it up and move it around and do whatever I want. It's Bluetooth connected. So there's no dongle that you have to put into your computer like a USB wireless mouse would be. And I've been quite pleased with it. It was an Indiegogo that I saw on YouTube, or not YouTube, on Facebook, and I bit, and took a few months for them to finally make them, but I got mine about a month ago, and I've been using it off and on since, and I've been very pleased with it. The other thing that I did want to share with you, let's see, I want to be careful what I'm closing here. Here, yeah, okay. So I can minimize that, come here. And now I'm going to go to my Stream Deck and open up YouTube. I'm not sure which account I'm in. I'm in the CFCS account. I just want you to realize that like on the CFCS YouTube channel, there is the meeting we had with Francis. So far it's had 19 views. My meeting, my WinSig meeting from Sunday has already had 32 views, and it's only been up a week. The one with the fellow from Data Analyzers, we've had 42 views.
Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew. And you can go back through, or you can go to the videos and just see a list of all of the videos that we have on the CFCS channel available. And you can see that some of them, 34 views. Here's one that I did at 2015 at 160, has 161 views. Why some more than others? I don't know. I think it might be some of the topics. When they do searches, they find a topic that's interesting. My cut the cord presentation was 40 views. Let's see here. The one with the guy with the book, Russ Walter, we have had 35 views on.
If you were to add up all those views, do you think it would be over 100? Well, it would definitely be over 100.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And in fact, I think there's somewhere where it does it. But what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch my account and switch over to, here is mine. And then I'm going to go to your channel. The reason I want to show you this is because I'm doing so many programs now, and some of you join the Tech for SIG, Tech for Seniors program on Mondays, and you're on the WinSig. I don't want to duplicate things that I do. So some of you don't see some of these things that I've been posting. I did one 2 days ago on your phone app in Windows 10. I've already had 109 views.
That was a great one.
And I did one on Google's Arts and Culture. I've already had 259 views in a week. 119 views. So I'm getting quite a few views for a lot of the stuff that I'm posting. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do here. Let's go to videos. But what I wanted to show you is I bought something from Amazon and did a little video of it, and I've had over 10,000 views.
Oh, wow.
And that was a video that I made.
You are now qualified for monetization if you wish. That's the first.
Yeah.
I think it's 5,000 views for monetization.
Now but the thing you have to be careful with monetization is when you do the managed videos here, and I think I may have one that you can see, it'll show restrictions, and I think I might have one here. I've been real careful about it, but occasionally I do. I think there was one that I had where, yeah, right here is the copyright claim. And this was at a wedding. And of course the music had so when you move your mouse over it, says copyright claim. Your video is ineligible for monetization due to a copyright claim. Review details. And so you can see what the details are, and what it'll tell you is it'll actually show you the part that's the problem, and it's a song because it's a song of What a Wonderful World in the video. I better not play it or I'll get dinged on this video. And then you can edit it out actually right from YouTube if you needed to comply. So you have to be careful what you show in a recorded YouTube presentation, because you can get dinged. And here's another copyright claim. It's the same. It was the same event, so it's another song. But we had a couple of situations on the Tech for Senior where we used a clip from YouTube. And a lot of times we don't get copyright claims on, but occasionally we get them. And one of them happened to be, it was a presentation by somebody, and it wasn't the presentation that was the problem. They had a song playing in the background or as an intro, and that's what I got dinged on. So you've got to be very careful what you post, especially if you do want to monetize.
The other thing with the limitations or the number of views, as I found out when we were live streaming, is I wanted the live stream from my phone, and they'll let you set up the live stream from your computer, but you've got to have a certain number of views and followers in order to live stream from your phone, which is much more convenient, especially on my stabilized mount, than trying to stream from my notebook.
So here's something from 2 months ago, 436 views.
If we ever do get back to live meetings again, now that CFCS has so many likes and hopefully followers as well, we might be able to do that.
Yeah, this is on my channel, but I'm quite sure on the CFCS channel I can stream to YouTube as well.
Yeah, currently with our ham radio, where we were, half of the group was meeting at a park, and the rest of us were on Zoom. So we actually had like split meetings, but the people who didn't want to go socialize, could stay home and Zoom, which that's what I did. But the other, 20 people met at one of the parks underneath the shelter, and they had lights, the lights shining into the ceiling, so everybody could see everything, and they were social distance with masks, but I just didn't want to chance it, and I'm more comfortable at home. So, we could run a dual meeting if we, kind of like Huey would do his presentation from Tampa, and we would be sitting in the library watching Huey.
Yeah, and the Sun City Center Computer Club in Sun City Center here in Florida, I helped them on their first meeting because they were getting 200 people at a meeting, so they wanted to make sure that everybody could do it virtually. So the only people that were on Zoom were the speaker and the president and one or two officers, including the person that handles the audiovisual part of it. Everybody else was on YouTube, and they just clicked the button and it streamed automatically to YouTube. And all of the members of the community that were members of the club could watch it on YouTube. And there's also along the side of YouTube a whole stream of chatting going on. And then somebody monitored that and then relayed the questions back to the people that were on Zoom. And so that can be done. And we're getting pretty close to having to do that with Tech for Senior. We had 94 people on Monday. So we've been inching up. We were averaging in the 70s, and then now we got up to the 80s, and now we're into the 90s. So it's probably going to be a few weeks, and we'll probably end up having to go to, we'll do YouTube and Zoom. So the people who can't get in on Zoom will be able to join us on YouTube.
You'll have to watch Ray's music section if it live streams to YouTube.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That if we do that, we'll probably have to cut the live part of it out because everything he has is copywritten and we can't use it. And what Ron does is he goes back into the recording and edits
Chops it.
out. Yeah, chops it out, and then just puts a link in the notes where you can go look at it.
Yeah, wait, we have 100 that we can spots open.
Yeah, you're gonna have 100, but that includes all of the speakers as well. So we got four. There's
Five.
5 of us that are regulars. We got Ron, myself, Bob G, Ray Baxter, the
Dewey.
president of AP, and then Dewey Clues. Dewey's 86, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he's doing some really neat stuff when he does his presentations. So, yeah,
I'm
so it's
impressed.
the group.
This guy's
Go ahead.
name is Dewey.
Dewey and
yes.
Dewey.
So
Yeah.
Dewey and Dewey are on the
Or
same.
Louis?
Yeah, there is no Louis.
No Louis yet. Okay. Have to work
And
on
speaking of Louis, you remember the Lumi character I had that you would see me and it would be a what do you call it?
Caricature.
Avatar, an avatar.
Avatar. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they just got bought by a gaming company and they're shutting everything down. So that went away. So I won't have that to play with.
Oh, my.
Come on.
'Cause
Huey,
I'm
what's
sure-
what's
Go
the name of that Indiegogo mouse that you purchased?
CheerPod, CheerPod.
Thank you.
Dick Vogel put a note in chat and said, what's the status of the Discord group? So I think everybody here at least may recall that I set up a Discord, which is a gamer social network. And the reason I like that is it really does resemble a bulletin board system. And it does allow interactive chatting. It does allow quote unquote groups for, for chat and posts by subject. And it pretty much parallels what we do with our Google group emails, except it organizes it. And as Stan was saying, he would like to, get alerts when things come in and see things in his inbox. And Discord doesn't send you emails when you've got new posts. You've got to go to Discord and then take a look at the new stuff that's there. So in answer to your question, Dick, nothing has happened with Discord because essentially I stopped posting to it because people weren't interacting with me. And as I said, I may set something up on MeWe for CFCS, but if nobody's interested in it, then I won't. So it's just, it's what we all want to do as a group rather than try to force something on a group that people just don't support.
I do a Discord with Ham Radio Crash Course on Friday, and there's usually 100 people, but they can't do live videos like this, but they're all chatting. And
right, you can.
It's more of a chat group instead of a video chat. But it's pretty well received on the Ham Radio Crash Course group, and then I've got you right underneath of it, and I belong to 3 Discord groups, and that's it.
Discord was started by gamers, and I play an interactive game on the web. It's based on Game of Thrones, so it's sort of a medieval kind of thing, sort of a civilization and war kind of game, and it's worldwide. I just did it kind of on a lark because I liked the series and I saw it on Facebook is where I first came across it. And there's close to 1 million people playing the game, if not more. There's servers all over the 1 million. Yeah. There's servers all over the world. Each server because they have to break it up. They can't, get all 1 million in one server. There's servers located all over the world. And you don't know if you're playing on a German server or US server or whatever. It's just the players that are in game that you see their names. And there are alliances, and most of the alliances have their own Discord server or group, if you will. So when it's time for a major event, tomorrow at 1:30 in the afternoon, there'll be an hour-and-a-half long event. And my alliance will be challenging another alliance. And my alliance has about 95 members, and of those 95 members, maybe half are in the United States and the rest are scattered all around the world. Europe, Asia, Australia, whatever. And so when there's things that need to be done around the clock, there's always somebody from the alliance that's on that can take care of the administrative things of running our kingdom, if you will. So Discord is very much adapted for doing something like that. And it's free. So, hey.
Huey,
Yes.
go to mouse a while ago, and I got in my closet today and took out 3 boxes that I hadn't seen since about 2012 and trying to get rid of some stuff. And I found a mouse. It's an optical ring mouse. I may have shown it. The paperwork says August 19th, 2011. I may have showed it at TechSIG. It straps onto your finger.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
And your thumb, there's a little curved button you can push here. There's a scroll wheel, and there's a little paddle switch. And you just move it, it's a USB plug-in. And it worked real neat. I used it for several months. I don't know why. I put it back in the package, put it in the box. I'm going to try it again. And there's one other thing I bought many months ago, bought it for everybody in the family. It's a little ultraviolet light. It takes 4 AA batteries. This one doesn't have the batteries in it. But you can take it, stick it in your pocket, carry it in the grocery store. You can run it across the cart handles or whatever. So they're neat. I gave them to everybody in the family and the grandkids and everybody.
Yeah, I had somebody, I know it was a lady that I worked with at the polling place, one of the people who also signed in, and she had a business and she used one in her business to go around and do it. So I looked up some articles. It's kind of controversial. Some people say, yeah, they work, and other ones say that it's a neat gimmick, but it doesn't work. So you don't know what to believe.
Well, it's an ultraviolet light. I don't, there's different rays for ultraviolet. I don't know. So I know you can spot urine from an animal with it easy, and that you could do with this. So
Just don't turn it on in a cheap hotel room.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Or an expensive one either, for that matter.
Got one, Huey. Just real quick, I'll try this. Share my screen. How do I do that?
I'll have to make you a co-host if you're going to share your screen.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, Stan has to do that.
And it's hard to hear you, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lean forward, Ken. Thank you.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
No.
Not yet. I'm working on it. And now I made you a co-host.
Okay.
Not quite yet. Yes, you are now co-host.
Okay. What's up? Whether you can see it or not, it's up.
Still don't see your screen.
You're not sharing yet.
Not sharing yet?
No.
No.
Okay, how do I stop sharing?
Up at the top, there should be a green bar.
I don't see any green bar anywhere.
Do you see a red square that says share?
Okay.
I have that at the bottom, not at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A green square says share.
Okay, try that.
Okay, and I push share.
Yep. There you go.
Okay. Ah, does that work?
Yep. We see it, you don't. That's all right.
No, I see it.
All right.
Okay. Anyhow, this is something I bought for my daughter. It's just another webcam, nothing special, but I like some of the features. And it's got Sony detectors in it, so I kind of thought that would be good. Who knows what we're going to find out, but it's got front and rear and 24-hour parking monitor, and it comes with the G-force detector, the dash cam Wi-Fi, and the app to run the thing. It's a 360 swivel, which I like because a lot of webcams can't be easily swiveled like the one in my car. And also I like the dash cam with the GPS module. And so it'll tell you where you are, what speed you're going. And I think you can actually not put that on if you don't want it on. I'm pretty sure my daughter won't want it on. But anyhow, it's a nice little package. I thought they did a good job of it. There's a YouTube movie on it, the VAVA dash cam. And the thing I'm concerned about is mine. You have to get really close to read license plates, and I didn't want it to. I didn't want it to be that situation with her. I want to be able to read the license plates at a relative distance. So I'm hoping this will do that, and the video gave the apparent thought that it might. Anyhow, that's a haul, nothing special, and other than some other stuff, I didn't know anybody else uses Dremel, but I bought a.
Does it have an automatic activation for certain things like high G for accidents, or
Yes.
somebody gets too close or cuts in front of you or something like that?
The 24-hour parking monitor, if somebody hits it or gets close, it turns on and records. And the G-force protects the evidence, video evidence, and you can download to your phone instantly. So that's a kind of a nice. I wish mine had that capability, but it does not. Anyhow, it's. I think I'm going to buy one of these for myself. One of the big problems I have in my car, which is the Odyssey, the van, is the back rear window webcam, dash cam doesn't stay on. It falls off almost immediately. So that's not something that make you happy, but it when it works, it's great. You can see where you've been. If you want to go home, turn it on.
Where's the rear camera for it?
Huh?
Where is the rear camera?
The rear cam? Wait a minute.
I mean, to show out the back. Where's that camera, actual camera?
Can you see it?
Oh, so it's built all into that.
Yeah, that goes all the way in the back.
It just shoots through your rear window.
Yes.
Okay.
Connect by cable or by RF?
It's by cable. And I looked for one that did it by RF or Bluetooth or something else, but I didn't find one. But she's got a van like mine, so she's going to have a long run and a place to put that cable. Or she can just get another one. But I bought this one for her because I thought it really had some nice features to it. And of course, as you see, it was a bargain. I got $10 off. And I think it will do well for her. And if I like it, I'll buy one for myself and replace the one I've got in mine. That's about it.
Ken?
Yeah.
I have that dash cam. I've had it for a couple of years now.
Oh.
I don't have the rear camera, but I have the one in the front, and it's the same. I think it's the same camera. It's a 2K camera.
Yeah.
And I have it, and Gary Ensminger, he has it as well. And it's actually pretty cool. And they actually sell permanent, where you can wire it permanently through underneath your dash into your fuse box. And I did that. So all the wires are hidden and they go right to the fuse box, and it actually powers the camera. You can set a setting in there that'll always be on. So even when the car is parked, it's always recording. And I put a 128 gig card in there, so it records. And I've had a couple of times, at least once, where I've shared the video when I saw an accident. When an accident happened, I might not see it myself, but the camera's always recording. So that's very helpful to people who are innocent in an accident.
Okay, well, your cam has got to be down on the bottom and set up on the top, like the one shown in the picture. If you can hide all the wires.
No, it goes. I tucked it up into the above the headliner, and then I went over to the side and down the A pillar.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can take that apart very easily. It's a friction rubber piece that's holding it on. Tuck it in there, and then you can go down and I don't know about your Honda, but my fuse box is up above my left foot, over on the left side next to the firewall. So it was quite easy to install that. I just had to find a fuse that was always on.
Yeah.
And it has circuit that piece that I'm talking about that makes it hardwired has circuitry in it that will monitor and won't drain your battery. You know, if your battery gets to a certain point, you know, voltage, it'll turn off the camera. It won't take any more voltage from the camera.
Okay.
So
Well, that camera's got to take so little power. You got a
right.
really weak battery to lose it.
Yeah, if you're going to drain a car battery, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I'm very happy with it.
Oh, that's great to hear. Does it read license plates clearly?
You got to be fairly close. I mean, if you're at a stoplight and the car's right in front of you, no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, I can always use Photoshop and see if I can bring them back anyhow.
right.
Sometimes I can do it work, and sometimes you can't. Doesn't work like it does on TV.
Yeah, I'm interested. Can you buy just the rear one, and if you already have the front one?
I did not see that advertised. No, but they're so cheap. It really isn't a big deal.
Right.
I mean, that's
159, you say?
Yeah.
Or 134?
No, 134.
135. Okay.
Yeah. So that's, you know, it's no money. So I think that would be about what you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, here you can see the license plate on that one, but that might be slightly enhanced.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Okay.
Okay. Dick Vogel, you've been very quiet tonight. What's going on in your world?
Well, you know, I don't have any earth-breaking tech stuff to really talk about, but the one thing that has occupied some of my life in the last couple weeks, I went to a Corvette event a couple weeks ago, came home with the Corvette, put it in the driveway, pulled out the Jeep, washed it, pulled out the Silverado, washed the hood, came back in the house. It was late in the afternoon by that time, 4 o'clock. Then we made dinner that night, and next morning I got up to leave and I can't find the key to the Jeep. So I've been on a quest for weeks. I mean, it just flat out disappeared. I got other keys, but I don't have the key fob. And I usually have a car cover on the Corvette. And I usually just kind of throw it on the Corvette because I use the Jeep to do my running around to food shopping, mainly Home Depot every once in a while. And so, I've just been looking and looking. And so after a couple of days after that, I said, well, let me look at the video camera, my Lorex system. So I've got all this video of me coming into the garage with the key in my hand. I was heading, after I washed the Jeep, I'm heading into the garage. And I was heading into the garage to go into the house to get the keys for the Silverado so I can watch that next. And between the moments in time, I remember putting the key on top of the Corvette because it had no cover on it. I think I put it on the top because I had the hood open. I was letting the heat out. But after that, it's a total blank. So I've been tearing my life apart looking for it. But the tech part about it is that I wanted to do backup videos so I could keep looking at these videos. And I've learned a lot about the Lorex system. The instruction book is nearly worthless. And the YouTubes on the internet and the write-ups are nearly worthless. There's nothing that really specifically addresses my model on how to do stuff. Even the control panels of the video are much different. So it's pretty much on my own, and it was a couple weeks of experiments. I read the book on how to get the video off, and there's two menus on how to take videos off. They've got different file extensions and lots of options. And it was a lot of experimental on what does what And, you know, remember I put last year or so or whatever, at the TechSIG, I talked about putting a 6 gig hard drive, purple hard drive into my Lorex so I could get more days. And I got the days up to 18 from where it was just over a week before. So, you know, I had the clock ticking the whole time while I, you know, learned how to operate and take the, you know, I was taking files off and trying to run them on my desktop computer, Windows 7. Then I figured out there's a lot of water under the bridge. And obviously I'm not going through everything in detail, but my laptop, which I'm on right now, my new laptop that I bought a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago, maybe, whatever. Some of those would run on the Windows 10 computer. They were SF, I forget the extension, ASF,
I think.
AFS files, and they would run. So I started collecting those, and I was using thumb drives. Then I wanted to use this 500 gig hard drive, but I couldn't format it to FAT32. So Mike and I got on my computer and he helped me through. He remoted into my computer and we put a program on there and we formatted it FAT32, and I was able to use my big hard drive. But so I used both. I used the thumb drives and the hard drive, and I finally kind of figured out how to look at the videos and what I wanted to do. And then it got another recording menu that lets you download. It's called a, I forget the extension, on a DV. I forget the extension of the file, but it only runs on a Lorex viewer, and it downloads the viewer with these files, a DAV files. But the view is pretty restrictive.
It would only run on your Windows 10 computer.
Yeah, it would only, well, no, the actual Lorex viewer would run on the Windows 7. But,
okay.
But when the ASF would only run on the Windows 10, but when I download the DAV files, it would only do one camera at a time. And it said, do you want to record all? And I basically said yes, but it only does one camera, which is the first one in the lineup. You can change the lineup. So, I mean, I spent weeks just every day, you know, banging on this thing until the time ran out, which was a couple of days ago. But the thing is, when I view these on the Windows 10 computer, these ASF files, I got full screen, even though I don't have zoom. It's got a 360-degree function to where you can take the screen and zoom it left and right and up and down, and I can also take the progress line of when it's running, and I can just scroll it as fast as I want. So you can get through a video and just look at something over and over again. So it's got advantages, and I took both of the files. I made DAV files and ASF files. So that's kind of taken over my life, looking for this key fob. I just, you know, and the day that I couldn't find it, you know, garbage day, that was like on a Monday that I realized I couldn't find it. Garbage day was like Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday. So, I mean, I went through all the recycle. I went through any garbage that was going out. I looked at. I just really have gotten nowhere. I looked in my Corvette in the engine bay twice now, jacked it up and under the car twice. I did that yesterday, big time. I spent a lot of time. I'm now pulling the garage again in more. Now I'm just pulling everything off. I'm going foot by foot. I'm pulling everything off the wall. I've started more thorough search. I just can't imagine where this thing went.
Shake
So
out,
anyway,
shake out,
Yeah, well, not,
shake out the cover. You said you had the cover and you took it off of one, put it on the other. You
that
might have laid
wasn't
it on
done.
that somewheres and it might have gotten just in one of the creases.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the day I came home on Sunday, I just come home from that Corvette event, so there was no cover on it.
Where
So
was the cover?
the cover was
Folded up and where?
rolled up just on a thing in front of the car, not against the wall on a object I've got.
I still like Huey's idea. You haven't done it.
What's that?
Nothing to lose. Just take the cover out on the ground and open it up and shake it out.
But
you
you,
don't
you show yourself with the fob going in the house, right?
Yeah, well, going in the garage.
Going in the garage. Okay.
And then I come out of the garage into my kitchen, and I come out of the garage into my kitchen with my hands open like this, because I'm heading for the drawer to get the key for the truck.
Look in your refrigerator. Maybe you got a drink and set it down and took a bottle out.
I am a big eater, but I don't think I ate it. So
X-ray time.
I know this is not a super tech story, but it did learn me a lot about the Lorex system, how to take files off and what it does. So I really.
The interesting thing about the hard drive he had is it had been formatted in the Lorex, and it had a Linux, very small Linux partition at the beginning of the hard drive, and Paul couldn't format it on either of his drives. So we got the ESYS partition manager, which is free, and we deleted his partitions, and then we were able to reformat it so he could use it. So just a little thing, but sometimes if a computer doesn't do the formatting, you get some weird partitions or some weird partition formats on drives.
That hard drive came out of my old DVR. So that was laying in my closet for, since I bought the Lorex system. And then I decided to use it. So I quickly got back on Amazon and bought another enclosure for it and got it in 2 days. And, I was up and running pretty quick with that hard drive. But I could format it with NTSF and something else, but I couldn't do a FAT32 on it.
EXF, which is Linux.
Yeah. So anyway, that's.
When I lose something, I finally give up on it. And then when I lose something else, that's when I find the original thing that I lost. So you got to lose something else, Paul. And as soon as you do that and go looking for that, you'll find your keys.
I usually put the keys on 1 of 3 places in the garage, and either I put it down in the garage or I put it in the pocket of my shorts. But normally if it was in my pocket at the end of the day, which was in about a couple of hours, I would have just come in to the bathroom. Of course, they're my work shorts. So generally I go into my bathroom and I just kind of, drop them. I got a big counter there and they kind of stay there because I'm out working on my property every day on my shorts. Well, at that time it was warm. That weekend we had a really warm weekend. So I was in shorts. So I have come in the house with the key in my shorts a couple of times. And if I find it, I just put it, out of my pocket on some surface in my bedroom, or my office rather, my office where the computers are, and then I head back out. But there was no sign of me having a key in the house. I'm still looking, I haven't moved the Corvette, but yeah, I mean, one of the first things I did was shake out the cover. But then I realized the cover wasn't even on the car. So. a
That
couple-
also brought up the subject of key finders. You know, nice little
Yeah,
disc.
yeah, yeah. I
with
was
the
just
near
going
field thing.
I was just going to mention that there's a lot of them out there, different
Yes,
ones.
there are.
I talked about one on, I can't remember where it was.
Was it
I
Tech
think it
for
was
Seniors?
Yeah, it was Tech for Seniors where I
Yeah.
talked about some different gadgets. I've got to go for a moment. I'll be back.
Paul?
And I need to make some comments. Number one, I think, Robert, you picked up on this. I said, Dick Vogel, what are you up to? And the next thing I knew, Paul, you came in and you misheard, I guess, and you started your thing. So Dick Vogel has left us now. He said, sorry, got to run. He did send a chat out with a something that he had bought that he was
New
pretty
camera.
pleased
I'm
with.
looking at it now. He said that he bought a Logitech C920S Pro. He's very pleased with the picture and sound, and he found it cheaper at Best Buy than at Amazon.
Those are good.
Thank you.
The 920s are supposed to be really good.
Okay, but it is getting quite late. I'm not in a huge rush, but and it looks like we've lost. No, Sean's there. You jump from one corner to the other. Sean, what are you up to these days? I saw your trip to Chicago and your thing about how lucky you were, and those pictures of you and your wife.
Yeah.
Everybody thought they were marvelous.
Well, thank you. I just bought a new Mac Mini. Apple came out with they're building their own chips now, so I've ordered one, and I posted the comments from last night's meeting for the Apple SIG. But in short, it's a purchase from Costco, and Costco requires that the vendors that sell their goods through Costco must have a 2-year warranty. So Apple honors that. They normally have a 1-year warranty. So it was less costly. I saved $20, which isn't a lot, but I saved $20 on the computer by buying it through Costco. And then I use my Costco Visa card, and they will add another 2 years. So in essence, 4 years, a 4-year warranty at no additional fee. So that was pretty good. I don't expect it to break, but I'm looking for that tomorrow. And that's going to replace one of the 2 Mac Mini servers that I have that are from 2011. So those 2 Mac Mini servers have been running pretty much nonstop since 2011. So that's been pretty.
What do you use the servers for?
One is a mail server, and the other one is a Plex server. So I put my DVD content and such and extra stuff and into a folder on a drive connected to that server, and it provides it allows me to watch the content on my network, so through a Plex app in Roku or Apple TV. So I have noticed that that machine is a workhorse because it has to do transcoding on the fly, unless the file format is an MP4, and they're not always MP4. So I see some buffering, and I'm looking forward to getting rid of that, or hopefully I will. Paul, I see that car behind you. Is that your Corvette?
Yes.
Is that a ZR1?
No, it's just the standard 94 Corvette.
I took a tour of the Corvette plant in around 1990, and they had just perfected or just approved the ZR1. You know, the ZR1 had problems when they first built that. It was melting hoods. The engine was melting hoods. So they wound up putting I think it's a 12-quart crank, oil pan in there. And they did other things to alleviate that. But that was a pretty cool engine to see. And they had them on pallets, just the engine stacked up on pallets when we walked through there.
That's some complex engine.
It is. Yeah, it is. You talked about the Lorex system. And I know we talked about that before you purchased. I told you that I have one, and I still do. That was what, about 4 years ago or so? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They have since, the software has never been great, as you've discovered. It's gotten worse. They've updated it, and it didn't help much. I mean, actually, I shouldn't say worse. It hasn't gotten any better. And I can say that the app for the iPhone has gotten worse. So I will eventually, I've talked about this before, but it's expensive undertaking. I want to switch over to Unify cameras.
Like you told me that, you told us that some time back.
Right. And of course, now I'm out of work, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to justify. The Lorex cameras are still working, still recording, and I can. It's just a pain in the butt, but I can get the video from them. However, I can show you what the interface on the Unify looks like. If I guess, does Stan have to grant access so I can share my screen?
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, great.
Too.
There were almost too many options on the Lorex. I mean, there's menus, options on top of options.
There are a lot of options. That's true. Okay, so I'll
You're not co-host.
I'm going to share my, let's see. So I'll share Firefox. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll go to the web interface. There's an app as well for your mobile device, whether it be iPhone or Android. But this is the login. This is on my network. It's a local login. And this is the interface. Now, I've only got 2 cameras. I kind of bought this as just to see how I liked it, and I really do. So I will eventually. But this is the view, and I can click on, and you can see information about the camera, or you can get a live view of the camera. This is all HTML5, I believe. And I can, I think I can resize this as well. Yeah. Or make it smaller. And then I can also click over here and I get the options about adjusting the camera settings. Like, it actually has a microphone, so I can hear what's going on outside. I don't have that turned on. You can't really, there's nothing going by right now. I'll turn that off. But you can adjust the brightness on it, on the camera.
Is that live right now?
That's live, yeah.
Wow.
And then,
Is it running into any kind of recorder or something like that?
yeah, I'll show you that. So, and then of course, let's see, it's got an artificial intelligence mode. I haven't really looked into that. How the camera adjusts the lighting conditions. Okay. There's also infrared. You can adjust the infrared. They make an infrared adapter that you can put on the camera to make it brighter. But that's fairly good right there.
That's actually got color coming in on your with the darkness. That's great.
Yeah, that is pretty good. The other camera I think might even be better.
Does that camera have a built-in light?
It does. It's built into just around the lens itself. There's LEDs. This is the driveway camera. It's funny, this right here, I don't know if you can see can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay, right here, this is actually, this is infrared, and this is infrared. These are cameras up here, and this is my doorbell back here. And those are even brighter than the regular lights, it seems. Of course, they got the lights for the landscaping and so forth. Let me see if I can turn this. Let's see if I can turn the lights on in the driveway. You can kind of see, because anytime there's movement in the driveway, the lights will come on. And then it'll give you a better idea of what it looks like with the lights on.
all these cameras that we're talking about in the last, the Lorex and even the cheap ones, they're all very sensitive to UV light and red. They're very responsive to red light and UV and ultraviolet. You can point a remote control hand unit for a television set at the cameras and see them light up.
Yeah. Let's see here.
The detail's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
On there. But I'll also show you the actual recording. So it senses events. It's recording all the time, but it actually records events. So here's an example of me coming home for the evening.
Are these 2K or 4K?
These are 2K, I believe.
2K.
So this is dusk. It was obviously not quite dark yet. And this is one from the front. That's actually the same. That's just a different angle of me coming in. Here's the mailman going across, the mail lady going across the lawn out front. So it's pretty good about picking up, and you can easily go through and set on the camera, say for instance, I want to set a motion zone. So you hit the zones here, add motion zone.
That's a lot how the Ring works as well. All the Ring cameras will let you set motion zones.
Street, I think I've got that set to 0. Yeah, or almost 0. Because I don't want to get a notification every time a car drives by, which has happened in the past. Had to reset the camera for that. It was these motion zones that were not behaving correctly, so I had to reset the camera. But I'm pretty happy with this. This works pretty well. As far as the recording device, bring this up here. Let's see, it's called.
Are these PoE cameras?
They are, yeah.
Power over internet or
Ethernet.
Ethernet. Yeah.
So this right here, this is the recorder. This is the size of a. Well, here, well, let's see. Yeah, here it is. It's not very big. This hard drive in here is a laptop hard drive.
2.5 inch.
Yep. So, and then the side of it isn't much bigger than that. So, I would say it's maybe 6 inches across and maybe 6 or 7 inches deep. And they're showing it here in a rack. They're kind of, I would say Unify is kind of prosumer, not 100% professional, but they do a really good job. They've got some really interesting, not just cameras. They make wireless access points and switches. And I've got a client who used to run the Mac legal SIG. His name's Dom Salfi. We've set him up with a bunch of cameras and switches and so forth. And he's got a building outside that we ran something called a Unify Nano Station. There's one on each side. There's no wires in between, and we beam the internet over to the other building. And it's super fast. The connection's great. And so they make all kinds of some really neat stuff.
How do you? I saw it set up to 20 cameras. How do you physically interface the cameras with? I mean, that unit can't have 20 female receptacles in it. It was too small.
You use none of them are plugged directly into that. It's just that it's on the network, just like the cameras. The cameras are plugged into power over Ethernet switches. So the switch, you plug the Ethernet cable into the switch, you run the Ethernet out to the camera, and that powers the camera.
So
is everything local, or do you have to have a paid service?
That's the great thing about this. It's not a paid service.
It's all local.
Everything's local. Yeah, that's one of the things people like about it is you don't have to pay any kind of, so kind of like the Lorex. Lorex is like that too.
Oh,
Paying
okay.
a subscription on that either. A lot of these, like Ring and Nest and so forth, they may have a certain amount there's a free tier, but you only get a small amount of data. So I was paying for Ring doorbell, and that thing wound up just failing. And after it was like 2 years and a month, and I thought, and it wouldn't power on anymore. I said, really, seriously? So I was out of my warranty, and I was out of my credit card warranty. So anyway, this is the unified. I'll send a link to this. It's pretty interesting to look through all the devices. You can go across the top here and look at the switches or the Wi-Fi, cameras. They even do phone systems and door accesses for buildings and stuff. But it's a pretty neat setup. So I think that's it. I mentioned that I bought another Eufy doorbell. That has the that's just on the phone, but that has the a chip built into the doorbell, and folks would argue that the doorbell that it could get stolen. That's true, but I'm not as worried about that. But it's instant response. When I get the doorbell ring and I go in, I can almost immediately, I mean, within a second or two, start talking to them. That was another thing about the Ring that I didn't like, is it would take so many seconds that the people would start walking away. So,
And it's still a problem. They're doing other things to try to improve it, but it's still a problem. It's their basic design.
yeah. So anyway, I'm really happy with the Eufy doorbell, and I got my second one now. The only thing I might remove those and put in Unified does have doorbells as well, and those would fit in with the little box I just showed you, and be just another camera to record video. So I may at some point do that, but I want to get the cameras first, and then I may consider going with the doorbell with them. So,
Very nice.
yeah. So that's it for me.
All right.
Yeah, Sean, I don't know if you'll notice, I put a bunch of links of some of the channels in the notes. If you
Yes,
wanted to add them.
Thanks for putting that out. I appreciate it. Got it.
All right, let me turn on my video, and I should explain. Oh, I got the
You got my picture.
come on. Look at that. I'm moving.
Huey, I still use the picture you did for me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now,
There it is.
You got your video camera on?
I do. No, I don't. I fidget a lot, so I turned it off just because I thought it'd be.
There you are.
There
We see the top of your head.
your head, yeah.
All right, so now I'll adjust it. And the one thing that I wanted to show you is that I did find the box, and I will send this out. This is it's only a 60 watt, but it's a motion sensitive light bulb from Home Depot. And, for a closet or someplace that you don't go into very often, it's great. It works 90% of the time. It's a little finicky. It has a switch on it for daytime or nighttime. I'm not sure I understand that. There's an 800 number, and I called it, and they were of no help at all. But anyway, it works reasonably well in the hallway of our garage. But I like that one with the 3 or 4 panels that you can adjust anywhere you want them.
So this has an automatic motion sensor in the bulb itself?
In the bulb, yes. I don't know where it is. It looks like a normal bulb. The only thing about it, I didn't bring the bulb in, and it doesn't show the switch anywhere. I'll send the details, the specs out. later. And
I got a couple places I could use those.
Both of those have been on OneTableData.com before. The garage light plus the one that Stan has. I've seen both of them on there.
Very cool.
all right,
A lot of good stuff today.
all right. I felt that way too. A couple of questions though, Sean. I missed last night. I just had too many things going on. The Apple SIG. I saw the notes. Was the turnout reasonably small again?
It was 5, but I only had 5, including me.
And I'm just curious, is it the holidays or what do you guys think? I like the smaller group for the TechSIG. Last month we only had 6 people and it was very, we stayed on again a long time. Everything was great.
Yeah.
But why is it falling down? Are people getting bored with this? Is it the COVID? Is it
No, I think
holidays?
No, I think it's Christmas. We had a couple meetings ago when we were just doing online. There was a point where we had like 12 people. It was a good turnout. And then we tried to go back to a mixed thing, and that doesn't work. Not with our setup. I don't have a dedicated person with a video camera and a mic to walk around like Iron Man. So I've decided to just stick with online. I could, as far as I'm concerned, we could just go with online from now on. At some point, all this crap will be over, and we can consider just going back to it.
Yeah, go back to
online. There's people that can join that normally, like Sheila Sheila can't come. Sheila Bigel. She's down in somewhere in South Florida. There's a couple other folks that just can't come. You guys, some of you guys can't really or don't want to come, and I get that. So I'm fine with having it online, but I think it was because of the Christmas. This is Christmas week, so and this is actually a pretty good turnout. At the end of the meeting last night, it was a good meeting. We had good information, a lot of good sharing, and I said it's not the quality, or it's not the quantity of this group, it's the quality, and it was a good meeting. So
I apologize. Last month I was going to, join. And I ate early and I sat down and I took a nap till 10 o'clock.
My naps sometimes take me to 2 a.m.
Oh my.
I was so ticked because I had a whole bunch of stuff to show.
Well, maybe next month, and next month, hopefully we'll have the big group back together again.
In fact, I've still got this for next time. A new laser distance meter. Yay!
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I had a presentation to a group in, where was last night's? Last night's was Tucson, Arizona, and Saturday I did one for the North Texas PC users group.
Huey, you're as busy as if you were employed.
I know. I wish I got paid for this stuff.
You should.
Huey, I was surprised how many showed up for Tech for Seniors.
Yeah, we hit 94, I think.
94 to start. Yeah. I was floored. Of course, it was Monday morning or Monday at noon. So what else is anybody doing?
Well, a lot of those people, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning.
What else are they doing?
Yeah.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to share my screen one more time to put us in a holiday mood before we shut down.
As long as it's not a music.
Yeah, as long as it's not something that'll ding us.
No, this won't be.
Either that or I can end the recording now.
No, this won't be a problem because I paid. Every year I do a jib jab for our family, and it's they have some free ones where you can take any picture and you can populate elves or different characters or whatever. So this is going to be a jib jab greeting that I did with my granddaughter, her husband, and their 1-year-old girl.
Before you start it, there's music in the background. Is it?
It's rocking around the Christmas tree.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to stop the recording so we don't get dinged.
Okay.
All right.